Welcome. All right. Tonight we got a treat. We have Mr. Paul Lidel, uh, Brent McCormick, who is the number one Dirty Looks fan, and we have David Beeson going to join us in 2 seconds. David Beeson is playing guitars for their upcoming show. He's going to help out playing guitars because, there's a rhythm section and a lead section. So he's going to help out with the guitars just to make it that more powerful. When they hit Selinsgrove Speedway, September 18th, I think. We'll get with Paul. He'll tell you all the details. But welcome, everybody. I see a lot of people on here today. So it must mean that this band is just loved, which everybody loves Dirty Looks. So let's say hi to Paul. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Let's say hi to Brett. What's up,
Hey,
Brett?
How are you?
And let's say hi to Dave Beeson. What's happening?
Yes. Didn't know I made it on or not.
Oh, yeah. I saw you down there. We just getting done with the tune. I saw you down there. I was going to bring you on. It's all good. You're here, buddy.
Cool.
The guitarist have,
Hey, guys.
I'm outnumbered by guitar players today. This is not cool whatsoever. All right, so this is going to be really laid back. I don't know, you know how I roll, Paul. You've been on this before. It's just basically let's tell some stories. Let's get to the bottom of Dirty Looks and everything. I know you got a bunch of great stories. Brett, I know you have great stories. And David, I want to get to know you a little better because I really don't know you, man. Sorry.
Me, bud.
So, Paul.
Yeah.
Dirty Looks. What, how, Brett told me to ask you this question. He said, ask Paul how it was that he became a part of the band. So how was it that you ended up in Dirty Looks? What happened? Because I'm sure you were doing other projects. So what brought you on?
Yeah. So I was in Rochester, New York, and playing in bands and stuff. And there was a band that used to play in Rochester often called Harpo. They're from Pennsylvania.
Absolutely know of Harpo from Erie.
And there was a rumor in the grapevine that the bass player of Harpo, who was Jack Peyers, was leaving Harpo to join this band from California called Dirty Looks. So with Harpo, their guitar player John Hahn was like an idol of mine. I used to go to see Harpo, and I would stand like 2 feet away from the guy and just watch him and try to learn everything I could. By the way, John has some amazing solo albums out. John Hahn. So check out John Hahn. Anyway, he is a hero of mine, and so I always thought, wow, it would be awesome if I could get together with him and like trade some licks and see if he could show me some stuff.
Right.
So so I had a party at my place after one of their shows and just invited the band over. The whole time intending to try to get together with John and pick his brain, right?
Right.
So so we were there in a different room just jamming out, and this guy Matt that I had not yet met, when we were done jamming out, he said, "Here, call this number. Dirty Looks needs a guitar player."
Call this number.
Yeah. So he gave me my number. I only know of Dirty Looks because the rumor was that Jack was leaving to join this band. That was enough for me.
Right.
That was enough for me to So the audition was arranged, and I drove to Pennsylvania, auditioned, and kind of long story short, got the gig. When I got the gig, Hendrick tried to talk me out of taking the gig by giving me a very realistic expectation of what it was that I was signing on for. He's like, there's no money. we gig all the time, and it's just rigorous, and not for the faint of heart. And I was just like, I'm ready. I don't care.
I'm ready. I don't make any money as it is right now, so it's nothing. I'm fucking used to this.
Yeah. So yeah, that was in the $5 a day days. We would get $5 a show per man.
Right.
And we would
way back in the day.
And we would tour up and down the East Coast in my Chevette.
A Chevette.
Yeah.
Nice.
We drove this Chevette into the ground. I ended up selling it for like $25 to the scrap heap. So it put a lot of miles on it. So
I'm sure of it. My ex-girlfriend had a Chevette. Let me tell you, it ain't easy to do in the back seat. So there ain't enough room for a guitar in there, I don't think.
There are small cars, yeah. So that's how I joined the band.
So it was 4 guys and the gear in the Chevette?
No. That was the thing about the early days was we were playing for very little money and touring in the Chevette, but we also had an equipment truck that was a big U-Haul truck that would carry a ton of PA gear. So everywhere we went, we just would thump the place with massive PA and lights.
Oh hell yeah!
Nice.
So that's where all the money went.
Wow.
Into the gear, into the show.
But it would happen where we would play a place once, and there'd be a handful of people, and then we'd come back, and there'd be a lot more people, and we'd come back, and then it would usually be full. And this was before we got signed.
Oh yeah. Now, I remember Sherlock's in Erie, Pennsylvania. See, I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, where Henrik was from.
Yeah.
And I remember Sherlock's. I remember, dude, you could drive down the street in Erie, Pennsylvania at that time in the early to mid to late 80s, and you could not pass a stop sign.
Oh, they're all over in Erie, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a dirty look sign, bumper sticker on every freaking stop sign. So you're like, who the hell is that? And then by the time you figured it out, I mean, and then you went and see the show, and it was, there'd be national touring acts that would come in there and tribute bands. But when Dirty Looks hit and went in there, they blew the roof off the place. Because like you said, they brought the PA, they brought everything with them. And it just kick-ass shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were also the road crew in the early days. We were the ones that were after the show. We would change into our road gear and would be humping all that stuff back into the truck. So after we got signed, it was hard for especially Jack to get out of that habit. Like the very first show of our first tour, he was in there trying to push the gear into the truck, and Henrik said, no, you don't do that anymore.
We got somebody to do that now.
Get out of the way.
We had the 18 Marshall cabinets.
Yeah. I bet the roadies loved that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all run them all ever?
No, they would be run.
You just change out
1 or 2 at a time, and then we would change it out as we would
Right.
blow, which seemed to be pretty often.
You blow.
Right. That's cool. Because that's a big change from the Gorillas, the Gorilla Amp story.
Yeah.
What's the gorilla story?
So
There we go.
Yeah.
This is great.
When we started out, Henrik didn't have an amp. Like, he didn't own one. So what he played through was my practice amp, which was a Gorilla, and then it would be sent through the Marshall cabinet.
Oh shit.
So
yeah,
there's a little practice amp about this big.
Right.
Not the greatest tone, really, but he always made it. And that's how we showcased for Atlantic. Was he played through that, and I played through. I played through my little PV Mace, but we always had scrims in front of all the gear, so nobody could see, what we were using.
Just this little dinky thing, a little boom box I'm playing through, don't mind me. But it sounds like it's a stack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it would sound big, and the scrims would keep anybody from knowing what we were doing. So eventually, scrims got replaced by 18 Marshall.
Stack three. They're three. Yeah, they were all stacked 3 high. It was great.
Yeah,
Right.
3 high.
Yeah. And that was just the thing that always killed me about y'all, is just the minute that y'all went on stage, it was just obliteration right in your face. So solid, so loud, but so clear, which was always, so much stuff that bands I've been in since, we've strived to do that, to that clarity like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to keeping it simple.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
This might say Facebook user, hi guys, hey Paul, but that's actually Jason Bacon. I can see over here who it is. Sometimes this shows up as Facebook user, so if it shows up as Facebook user, I will let you know who's saying it.
Okay.
Hey Gilbert, what's going on, man?
Yeah, there's. So if everybody doesn't know, that's Brent down there that he's talking to. Brent, tell us a little bit about yourself. You are actually, it's not self-proclaimed. You are proclaimed by the man himself, Paul, that you are.
Now, Mike, what I told you was that Brett is the 3rd biggest dirty look.
Oh, the 3rd biggest. That's right.
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm the first.
Jason, that's right. Jason.
And
then,
David.
Then David, and then you. Okay.
Right.
So you've been demoted tonight. Thank you very much.
I'm used to that. I'm good with that.
My bad. I was saying you were the biggest. And Jason's going to be blowing up my phone pretty soon going, stop telling people that I'm the fucking biggest. But,
right
I would say we're pretty close to being equal, me and Brett on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times, when David, you asked a little bit about me. So I was been in bands with David for years, and I can't tell you how many times we were out on the road and it was dirty looks in the CD player all the time. I mean, it was Pull from the Wire or Turn the Screw or 5 Easy Pieces or whatever it was, but it was something, and it's just,
we were stranded in a room in Egypt all day during a sandstorm listening to 5 Easy Pieces.
That's a true story right there.
We were listening to it on repeat, and his copy of it was so scratched up that I was just getting frustrated. It's like, oh, this is my favorite part. Oh, it's messing up.
I hate that. I couldn't say that. You have to go buy another one, and buy another one, and buy another one. It's not like, if they had Spotify back then, we could have saved a lot of money on albums.
Yeah.
Jeez. And I heard you're only really supposed to play an album once a day.
Well, we didn't follow that rule for dirty
Not
looks.
a chance. No. I mean, I've never done that. If I liked it, it was getting flipped and then stop, play. So that's how we ruined so many albums.
Yeah.
Because nowadays they tell us you're only supposed to play it once a day. I still don't stick by that. Never will. Never have. Screw them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. But, okay. So, Brett, Paul tells me you started a Dirty Looks tribute band.
No, well, David and I and Jason did.
Okay.
Yeah, Bruce from Broken Teeth on drums.
And Bruce, yeah. And so so we did do a little tribute to Paul one night, and it was awesome. And we called it Dirty Looks, but we spelled it completely wrong. Just because
it was
had
for
to.
my birthday.
Yeah, it was a
It
birthday.
was for your birthday, yeah. And it was in a club called Emos. I mean, what was it called?
Headhunters.
And
Nice.
the stage was about as big as Hendrix's first amp. If
Yeah.
that tells you how small the stage was.
It's big.
It was super small.
Oh,
But it was
shit.
awesome,
Yeah,
It
I
was
saw
fun.
the video from that show.
Yeah, I have a I just recently moved, so everything's in storage, but I got to find a VHS tape, and if I can find it, I'm gonna give it back to Paul. But I have a video of a show, and was there a club called Harpo's?
No.
There was.
No,
Not in Erie.
But
no. I mean,
uh,
I can't remember what the name of the show. I think I have Harpo's in my head because of the conversation a while ago. But it's up from a
the Hammerjacks in
Hammerjacks, yeah, and it's from the balcony up, shining down, and I want to give you that back when I can get it back because I'm just scared to play it, because if something were to happen to it, that's gone.
Yeah, and I
Right.
it went away. I bought
Right.
the DVD from.
I've seen that, right? That's Jack's in the middle of the stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was probably that particular video is probably I think about my third show.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So
And you're playing the White Dean V, right?
I think he was, yeah, like had an elephant on this. That would be it, yeah.
Yeah, look at that son of a bitch. That's old.
By the
That's
way, this was the guitar that I used on Cool from the Wire. It's the only guitar I used on Cool from the Wire.
that
and,
ass.
And I'm going to use this guitar for the show on September 18th, just for old time's sake.
Oh heck yeah!
Oh, sweet. Nice.
So, have you used it since School from the Wire, or not?
Not much.
Just playing around at the house
No,
or
we
here and there.
We started.
Did it travel around a little bit? And you it ended up in a couple different hands, and then you end up getting it back.
We got a guitar endorsement, and so we started using these ESP guitars. So I kind of stopped using that Dean, but I'll be using it again for the show.
Oh hell yeah!
Sounds great.
And then you went to Les Paul's though, right? Then you went to the
Then I got my Les Paul and didn't even want any other guitars.
right. Nice. Sweet.
There's a
That
question.
guitar plays great. I just had a guitar. I replaced the potentiometer.
Looks like we have a Facebook user.
It's from Wendy Michelle Moody.
Oh,
Oh.
hey. Oh, I've got a new car. I got a new car, and it's red, and so its nickname is Ruby.
Ruby Red. All right.
Yeah.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wendy. We wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
See? I love when people participate and they call people out on here. They like to mess with you more than I do. So it's cool. Thanks, Wendy. That was great. So
It's a family cruiser. It's not like a Ferrari or nothing.
hey, Ruby's all grown up now, and she's not like she used to be. She's all grown up. She's kind of
got to get the kids to school. Yeah,
right. She's got a minivan and shit.
It's a modern day Chevette.
Yeah,
modern day Chevette. Yeah. Right.
It would have been a back then, I'm sure.
Now, okay, you came on, Paul. You came on. Now, how quickly did the sessions for Cool from the Wires start happening? Was it immediate? Did you guys were like in the studio, or was there a time when? Now I know you're on. I know you got credits for being on Cool from the Wire. You got credits for being on, I do believe, Gasoline.
Turn of the Screw.
Super Deluxe. Turn of the Screw, isn't that like you and Chris, or is that just you? That's all you? See, I wasn't sure. I know Chris came later, something like that. But okay, you're Turn of the Screw, and then I don't know if you were on any earlier.
I don't.
Before Cool from the Wire was In Your Face.
In Your Face.
The In Your Face album, I believe, was just Henrik playing guitar.
Yes, that's what I thought. I wasn't absolutely sure if you were involved in that at all or nothing, but I didn't know.
Yeah, that was before me, and that was the album that after I auditioned, gave me that album. Man, this is killer. I became a fan then,
Yeah. So how did you get the deal with Atlantic?
We got a little write-up. There's a music store in Rochester, New York called the House of Guitars, and it's the largest music store in the world. And this music store had an album, a label called Mirror Records. So our album, the In Your Face album, was on Mirror Records, and so they got a little review in Billboard magazine and Billboard said, this is pretty good, basically, and that resulted in kind of a bidding war with a bunch of different labels. We showcased for several different labels. The first of which was Atlantic Records, and when we were going to showcase for Atlantic Records, the A&R guy, whose name is Frankie LaRocca, could only come down to see the band on one given night. So we were showcased in Rochester, and there was a band that night that wouldn't give up their gig. So we opened for them.
Oh, nice. I bet that wasn't fun for them.
No. Following? No.
And I had mentioned before, about the huge PA system that we always traveled with and all the lights and everything. So that particular night, the truck broke down like far from the gig.
Oh no.
So we showcased opening for this other band and using this rinky-dink PA system that they had and their lights. So everything, it was like one of those everything that could go wrong
went wrong.
But
Murphy's Law night.
But it worked out. It worked out fine because Frankie LaRocca, I was talking to him afterwards, and he said, "Yeah, I can hear through all that."
Nice.
Oh hell yeah!
He could see what it could be. He saw the potential in it, and so
right on.
Yeah, that was a huge thrill.
Oh, I bet. I mean, to listen to you guys the first time, I mean, it was, there was at that time in '88 there was a bunch of bands that sounded the same. I mean, they all sounded like Poison, like Rat, Bon Jovi. You had this cookie cutter hair band thing going on, bam, 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 bam. They were all getting pushed. Then, in the middle of the pack, or just there was some that were down there that weren't getting the push, and Dirty Looks just happened to be one of them bands that wasn't getting that push that they needed, that they so deserved. You had Guns N' Roses come out in 1987, and everybody jumped on that because it was such a different sound. You had the Les Paul just blowing your ear up. You had the screaming vocals, the we don't give a shit about anything. We just want to play rock and roll attitude. And that was exactly Dirty Looks. But it seemed like,
That's what made me like them.
What's that?
That's what made me like them.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, wow, and growing up in Erie and living in Erie, we thought Dirty Looks was the biggest thing ever. And we're like, oh, hell yeah, they're the best. They're greatest. They just went out to Los Angeles because I remember Henrik leaving for Los Angeles. And going out there, and I'm like, okay, cool. They're gonna hit it big. They're, and it was never as big as it should have been in my mind,
I agree.
So what do you think? You guys released the album. What was going through your? You went on tours. Who did you tour with? It was what tours were you a part of?
We did some opening spots for example, Kiss.
Right.
That was cool.
Yeah.
We played a handful of shows with them, and then there was some. We used to play with Kicks quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which was always
always fun.
I mean, we would always open for them. So yeah, and LA Guns, I think a handful of times.
Really?
Yeah.
And they were all bands that you fit well with, except for Kiss. We don't need no Kiss. But Kicks, that's that's that kind of sound. LA Guns was that kind of sound that everybody was craving at the time. But it's almost like Atlantic didn't want to, they didn't push you guys like Atlantic pushed other bands. Like Rat was on the Atlantic, they didn't push that. They pushed them, but it was like they picked and choose which bands they wanted to push, and that kind of sucked for people like us. Where you guys should have been stratosphere because your music was that much better than some of these other cookie cutter freaking bands that are no longer around, but then you got still people around craving dirty looks. But it's just terrible what record companies did to bands. I mean,
which we're extremely grateful that people still even have an interest in a band that, I mean, this all was like years ago, right? So,
right.
So there's
when was the last show? Do you remember when the last show was?
It was 93.
Yeah.
Probably October and November of 93.
Yeah, that was with basically the members. The core members, because I know Henrik kept going, but after 94 kept going and doing things. How was Henrik to work with? A lot of people hear a lot of different things. I know what he was like as a friend, as an acquaintance, as somebody I knew. How was he to work with?
He could be a cool dude. He could be real funny, and he could be real intense. He had just this absolutely crazy work ethic, and he had the attitude that, like, if he wanted to do something, there was going to be nothing to get in his way. And almost more so than anybody I know. Like, it was remarkable, the amount of conviction that he had,
Right.
You had told me a story, gosh, I want to say probably 20 years ago. I don't know, but you had told me that like one of your first conversations with Henrik on the phone was him describing what was going to happen. We're going to get a record deal. We're going to put out videos. We're going to hit the road, start touring. And it was just like somebody talking really big. And you're like, it was just amazing that it happened just like you said.
Yeah. He had a very realistic outlook on music and the chances of becoming successful and all that. He's like, in response to that, he would kind of say, us, like anybody else, are trying to do this, this, and this, and this.
Well, would you go ahead and explain the old Eric Bird situation and when people wanted to meet Eric Bird in the phone?
Okay. So when
I don't know this one.
when I had first joined the band, people told me about the manager of the band, who was Eric Bird. And so a lot of people knew about Eric Bird. Nobody had ever met him. And then one day, Henrik was on the phone, but he was talking in this voice. And if you weren't looking, you'd picture like this suit and tie business dude, you know.
Nice.
And that was Eric Bird. He thought it was cooler to have, you know, instead of having you know, somebody in the band managing it and managing the details, he thought it was cooler to have a manager.
but there are stories too, though, right, where people kept saying, "Man, we'd really like to meet Eric." You know, I mean, this and that, right?
Yeah. I have people saying,
never in the same room at the same time.
Right.
Oh, he's back. He's busy. He's taking care of it, you know.
Right. We got a question. This Facebook user is actually Stephen Larman. He's
Stephen. Yeah.
Yes, you know Stephen Larman. Yeah. He said, looking back.
Glad to hear you're okay, man.
Yes. Oh, yes, Steve. He's back.
So
he had a bout of being sick.
It was really weird.
And you couldn't keep that boy down. I mean, he just wanted to get out of there and go to some more shows, man. I mean, you can't. He should, man. It was touch and go with him. But he said, looking back, what do you think could have been done to put you on the next level back then? What could have been done?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of you know, things in retrospect. You know, it's like, oh, if we'd done that, and that, you know, things may or may not have happened more than they did. But I was always pretty pleased with the amount of touring, and, you know, put out 4 videos and a couple albums in Atlantic, and you know, I was checking the boxes on a bunch of my life goals. Was that, you know, when I set out, at, what was I, 20? Yeah, I was like 20. And I said, but by the time I'm 25, I want to have an album on the charts.
Which is accomplished.
Yeah. So that was that. 20.
Right.
So yeah. But in terms of, you know, it's the luck of the draw in terms of all that kind of stuff, you know.
It really is.
So yeah, really have any regrets. A lot of people say, "Oh, the band should have been big," you know, and it's like, yeah, that would have been cool, but you know.
But I wouldn't change a thing, really. I mean, nowadays it seems like now that all this, you know, 30 years later, 30 plus, 32 years later, 33 years later, I'm doing the math in my head. I'm not very good at it. But 33 years later, all the dust is settled on, you know, most of the bands that were so-called popular back then, and they're not around. But then you got people, what I see happening is people are craving new music because there's not a lot out there right now. It's starting to come, and they're digging a little deeper and discovering the bands that they missed out on because, like, it was so saturated with everybody at the time. But it seems like Dirty Looks is like, you know, people are going, wait a minute, I never heard of these guys. So it's brand new to them.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's not oversaturated, so they can find it easier online, you know, with podcasts and little radio shows that are, you know, sharing on Facebook. They say, okay, who's that? So it seems like certain bands that didn't get the attention back then are starting to get the attention now because people are discovering new to them music. You know?
Right.
Yeah, it's a great band to do that with.
Right. And
it's cool. It's cool too. Some of the events now that are showcasing music from that, like your Monsters of Rock cruise and stuff like that. It's at least given some new life to some of this stuff that people should have got to hear in the first place.
Right.
And my thoughts on the guy's comment a second ago, is it's just, if Dirty Looks would have had a little bit more money pushed behind them too, I feel like, y'all would have just blown up. But y'all, they were putting all their money into all the cookie cutter pretty boy stuff. And I guarantee there's some A&R people looking back now on some of the bands that aren't here now thinking, I wish we would have put the money into Dirty Looks,
Right.
So our first two shows, bro.
Do what?
I said the first two shows of our tour was Skid Row.
Huh.
And the people from Atlantic, I remember, were all just circled around Sebastian Bach, like, Bach.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
They knew he was their meal ticket. They
right.
could tell. So, yeah, very excited about Skid Row.
Yeah. Right on. So, Paul, what's your favorite song to play that's not one of the major hits to play live?
Well, Cool from the Wire was kind of always one of my favorite songs.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, yeah.
Just from the get-go. And I even told Henrik, I said, we should call the album that. That's just a really cool title.
Right.
Other than that, the song Tokyo is one of my personal favorites, but we didn't play it much. I think we only played it times. And then some songs from Turn of the Screw. I think Take What You Get's always been one that I really dig.
There's still something that I got right after he passed. His girlfriend, Sandy, at the time, she was with him up until his death. She knew how huge of a Dirty Looks fan I was, and she knew I knew him and hung out with him. And I'm not the kind of person to ask for anything. Somebody, guys, you don't ask for anything. But she called me up. She says, I want you to stop over the house. I got a bunch of shit of Hendrix for you. So I got the T-shirt. But in there, I have a bunch of stuff. But I want to show one thing. Okay, I don't know if you could see it very well. But all the handwritten lyrics.
Oh, cool.
Like Ruby, just his handwritten shit. I mean, it's just
wow.
It was one of them things where when she gave it to me, I was just like, he mentioned you a couple times in here, Paul. He's like, Paul with the lead. And it's so cool to see. It's like, wow, and like his thoughts and stuff like that, but like you said, meticulous, and driven, and just, jot things down. One page might have just one word, but he knew what that meant. Nobody else does. Mm-hmm. But, it's kind of cool to see, and
that's a cool thing to take good care of that. For sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Huh. That ain't going nowhere.
I would shadow box that.
It was in the closet, in between some things, just wrapped up and this and that. I don't even want to put it in the shadow box. I got other things in the shadow box.
Gotcha.
But, no, that really doesn't see the light of day. I don't want the pages turning yellow. I don't want nothing done to it. It's never going to leave my hands. It's not like I'm preserving it to sell it someday, because if I do give it to somebody, it would be somebody in the band, or like his kids or something like that if they wanted it. But it would never be sold on eBay or anything like that. No way. But But okay, you said okay. My favorite song on Cool from the Wire is No Brains Child, and I know that any given day I probably would never be able to hear that song live, but on the 18th, you're doing the whole thing.
No, we always played No Brains.
I know they played it back in the day, but I wouldn't know, if it would still be on a set list or.
I promise you that one's on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the song when I'm sound checking with Broken Teeth. Hey, we need to hear some guitar.
Nice.
Yeah. Is that your favorite one to play live, Dave?
Well, I don't know yet. Yet to do a show. I've just done the 2 rehearsals. But,
right.
The thing about that song sort of brings to mind the story that when we got signed, Atlantic originally wanted to just remix the existing album In Your Face and put that out. And I wasn't on that album, and neither was Gene Barnett. So we made some more demos. We recorded some more songs. No Brains Child was one of them, and gave those to them. And they heard that and they said, "Oh my gosh! Well, we gotta let's rethink this. Let's actually make a whole new album and do everything from the ground up and get Max Norman in here." Max Norman produced Ozzy for one thing, crazy,
right?
And on a lot of the people. So so No Brains Child was one of the songs that got it so that me and Gene were on the first album released by Atlantic.
Nice.
I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah.
Right.
If we have that thing for it, then yes, that is my favorite song to play, Brett.
Obviously, you play it everywhere.
Yeah.
So how are rehearsals going for this show? Going well? Going good? Clicking?
Oh, yeah.
It's totally. Everybody is as good or better than they were, 30 years ago. 30
hell yeah.
or more years ago. Nobody's missed a step at all.
Nice.
So and the rehearsals are just really clicking. Jason's killing it. David's killing it.
You're killing it.
Oh yeah.
The band is. I can say that the band is really strong.
Nice. Now, I had a question the other day. Somebody asked me, because they would think I would know this, and I have no freaking clue. But they asked me if Selinsgrove, if it's going to be outside, or if it's going to be
Selinsgrove. It's the Selinsgrove Speedway,
right?
And it is an outdoor venue, so
okay.
People can social distance as much as they want.
Right. So
they're telling people, go ahead and bring chairs and blankets and everything, because it's basically just a big lawn,
right,
and a big stage,
right.
So there won't be
right. So it's kind of like what they do on Monsters of Rock for the pre-parties down there at the casino. It's just a stage set up, like they have the horse track, the stage set up outside, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We did it that way because the current situation, people can be as far apart from one another as they want to.
Right. Or as close as they want to.
Right.
You all want to get up front, rocking it out, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. Get up there. If you want to, be scared, get back there.
Right. So that way, because a lot of people, and I understand, wouldn't want to be in a venue that's all closed in.
Right.
So outdoors it is.
Right. You gotta think of both sides. You can't just say, okay, we want to have it inside, and then you may possibly lose 50% of the people that would go if it was outside. you know. So, and then you run the risk of closing down because it's inside, because they don't want to, deal with it and this and that. But if it's outside, you can still do it,
Yeah.
there's
So
no risk of it being shut
I
down.
think it's a great thing that it's at the Speedway. That's
Right. Never been there. I've never been there.
You've been to Selinsgrove though, have you?
No, I have never.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like that's a couple hundred miles away from Erie. Erie's all the way at the
Yeah.
top by the lake, and then you go all the way down here.
Made the trip
Yeah.
lots of times.
Hey, and then, so
And Selinsgrove is it's cool that you're playing this particular show in Selinsgrove because that's kind of ground zero for Dirty Looks. That's where
right.
that's where I went to first join the band. That's where we always rehearse. That's where we'd always meet before we would take off on the road.
Right.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of ground zero, man, and to be getting back to ground zero.
Yeah. So
You
it's
know.
so appropriate.
Right.
Is it a big town?
No.
No.
However, it's a little tiny town that has at least 3 major label acts that have come from it. One of
Really?
them,
Oh, wow.
and the other is a band called the Badleys, and I think they're on some major label. But
Huh.
yeah, so like it's a little 2-horse.
Huh.
Right. It's a college town, right?
No, it's close to a college town. It's close to State College, which is about an hour or so away. But it's very central. Like there's in Selinsgrove, it wouldn't be unusual to see a horse and buggy going down.
Nice.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with that, dude. Yeah.
So yeah, you wouldn't expect the places with the horse and buggies to be the the hotbed
The
for
hotbed of
major
rock.
people.
Bands, right? Wow, that's pretty cool.
Jim Hamby, he's got a
The
question.
horse and buggies, by the way, were the Amish because it's Amish country.
Sure.
Jim Hamby has a question, but I can't find. Jim Hamby has a question. He said, "Can we look forward to more shows?"
We don't have anything else booked at the moment. We haven't ruled it out, but we have
Okay.
a particular show we kind of see as being homage to Henrik,
Whose mic is that?
Maybe it's mine. I'm gonna switch mine.
Wait a minute. So,
We see it as
I don't know if
paying
it's
homage
yours.
to Henrik and to that music that we were part of back then, and so it makes the show sort of more of a celebration,
Right.
of that. Whether or not there will be more, we'll see.
You're always open to it.
Yeah, and like I said before, the band is just really strong. So if we didn't do it again, it would almost be a shame. But
It would be a shame.
at the moment there's no plans.
Right. Well, you got to
Because Austin would sure like it if you would do one.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, that's what I've.
Los Angeles
So I was
would
told.
probably like it. Denver would like it. Pretty sure Tampa Bay would like it. Charleston, South Carolina would like it. I'm pretty sure you can find a bunch of places that would like it. But considering with the current state of affairs and everything that's going on, it's hard to book anything in the future right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of we've been just planning to do a show that honors Henrik.
Right.
And that's what it's about, I think.
Right. And that's perfect. I mean, and Jason's perfect. And I know I have friends up in Erie that know Henrik very well because he was part of Erie. And I did get not hate mail, but like, what the hell are you doing supporting this? This is another ripoff of Henrik's. And I had to explain to them that, hey, listen, I know Paul, and Paul has talked to me about this. And Paul, this is what Paul's got going on. It's not trying to rip off anything. It's not trying to make a new album. It's not trying to get all the glory for himself and the other guys. This is a paying tribute to Henrik. This is Jason McMaster not taking over. This is Jason McMaster paying homage to a guy he absolutely adored.
Yeah, and the feeling was mutual, by the way. Henrik looked up and respected Jason a lot, and Jason used to come to shows all the time, and Henrik would always have him up on stage to sing.
Right.
But he was the only one.
Right.
So
Nice.
I strongly feel that, if Henrik was able to handpick somebody to put
Right.
sing those songs, I have no doubt that it would be Jason.
Right. And I have no doubt about that either. And that's what I explain to people. I'm like, listen, just before, people like to make up their minds before they listen to the facts. It happens all the time. If something happens to, in Rad, I'm a huge fan of Rad. And when Bobby Bolger does this or when that does, I like to blame this one or go, what the hell is this? But before you get the facts, you really can't run your mouth. So then when you give the people the facts, then they go, oh, okay, I'm sorry. It's realize that this is not something that people are trying to take away from Henrik. They're trying to honor Henrik. And that's, and
Yeah.
I see it and I love it and I back it, and if it wasn't that way, there was a band, it was a guy in North Carolina. I'm pretty sure I told you this story. It was a guy in North Carolina.
That was just silly.
Yes. And I'm like, he starts this band called Dirty Looks. Logo and everything. I'm like, oh my God, they're back. Okay, this is North Carolina. And I knew you were in Texas. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the members. I'm like, these ain't the guys. So I'm like, all right, using the logo and everything.
He just wanted to just take the name.
Yes.
Call it that.
Right. You can't do that.
Didn't he almost end up on a cruise with that name?
Well,
Almost.
a lot of backlash. He was
Yeah.
able to control the backlash on Facebook, but he wasn't able to control the backlash on other sites.
Right.
There's things that people would write on the other sites that suggested that he maybe shouldn't do that.
Right. And I got an email or a private message from him going, "Hey man, you're just mad because people are trying to, I'm trying to do music and get the word out there." I'm like, dude, you went about it the wrong way. You stole the name. So he's like, no, I talked to his wife. So I got a hold of Henrik's girlfriend. I told her, get a hold of the wife. Wife had no idea. So then she came after him and everything. I'm like, dude, you want to go about it the right way, go about it the right way. But when I see something on Facebook and it ain't right, I'm going to take you down. And anybody would for one of their favorite bands. What's that?
I said you and everybody else.
Exactly.
So he wisely decided not to do that.
Yes. He's got other things that he does, and he's not very good at it. I mean, he would have done no justice to anything. So it was kind of good that it was over. So, when does this show happen? What is the date?
It's
Let us know.
September 18th, which is coming right up.
You're coming right up in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
if you don't got plans, or if you have plans, break them. If you don't have plans to be there, get plans to be there. Do you're going to be handling guitars, Dave, right? You're on guitars.
Yes.
Gene will be on drums. Jack's on bass.
Let's interject that too. We decided that rather than having Jason play guitar also, that we wanted to have, Jack said, well, we want to get another guitar player so that Jason, can just focus on vocals.
Boom.
And I told him, I know who we need. There was just no question. And I said, yeah, I know a guy that could play the show tomorrow.
Right.
And so Jack was super impressed with David in rehearsal.
Very cool. Very cool.
And that would be the second time that you brought up Dave when you decided that when a guitar player needed to be replaced, it needed to be David.
David's the go-to guy. That's
right.
Nice.
I'll take it.
Heck yeah, dude. I mean,
hell yeah, man.
Why not?
Yeah. It's an honor.
It really is. I mean, I'm just saying, that's for somebody you look up to handpick you and go, hey, you're in.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like that movie,
Glad to keep Paul around, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you be my manager?
Yeah. Kind of is in a way. Yeah.
Right. Really, he's your manager right now, which is, I could think of worse people. I mean, Paul's
maybe you'll meet Eric Bird. Maybe you'll meet Eric Bird at this show.
Hey, Eric Bird will make it. Maybe he'll make
the elusive.
The elusive Eric Bird.
Yeah, well, I've been in Broken Teeth since 2006, and Paul pretty much handed me that on a silver platter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same.
Changed my life. Yeah.
Brett said, well, who should we get? And I'm like, well, who else,
Right, there's one person.
Yeah, David's the go-to guy.
Right. So that's, tell us a little bit about Broken Teeth. I mean, maybe people don't know about Broken Teeth.
Well,
Broken Teeth was...
I know about it, but tell about it.
All right. Broken Teeth's been around 20...
It's 99. 99, I think.
Yeah,
98 or 99. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was a band that I started, and with Jason singing, and Brett played bass, and put out a bunch of albums, and in I think 2006 or something, 2007, I left that to start a different project, and told them to get David.
Yep. And last night was this guy. Last night was the first time all the Broken Teeth guys have been in the same room since COVID started. We had a rehearsal last night.
Cool.
It felt great. Yeah.
Sure.
We didn't miss a beat. We could go do a show tomorrow. Wouldn't be an issue at all.
Right, because you guys might not have all been together, but it's not like you put the instruments down all year.
Oh no.
You're still plugging away at it, so it's just the chemistry's in the room is still there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
When you got it, you got it.
Another cool kind of tidbit is Paul also had another project that wasn't the deal that you could record that band's record if you would give the label a Dirty Looks style record to Tom.
Yeah,
give birth to Broken Teeth yet.
That was how Broken Teeth started, because the label said we have a market for music, and so I was like, wow, I can write that stuff like breathing,
Right.
And so we had that album written in an extremely short period of time, like days. The first one, and then in exchange, the band that I was in at the time, and I was actually singing in that band, and we did. They paid for us to do an album too, so got to do a couple albums at the same time.
I just thought it was awesome that the way that he described what album he wanted out of the deal was a Dirty Looks style record, which because there's so much market for that stuff, that people don't realize.
Yeah.
And that good old Les Paul sound, grungy. You find it in a lot of music coming up right now. I mean,
yeah, and that kind of thing is kind of just in, I don't know, I guess in my DNA. There's a lot, along with a lot of other people, but
oh hell yeah,
that sort of bluesy hard rock,
right?
Hey,
you find it in DT. It's in '99. It's Dirty Looks. That it's you're pretty consistent with your sound. I mean, when Paul Lidell's in there, Lidel. I always say Lidel, but you always know when you're in there, you can hear that guitar tone. You can hear that. It's just some people have that signature. You got that signature.
I agree.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah.
He's starting to get this guitar stuff down, isn't he?
I mean,
he should stick with it. Yeah,
he's had a little bit of practice. I mean, he's starting to come around. He's coming around to where he can actually give lessons now, right?
Yeah.
You do lessons now, right?
I do, yeah.
You do.
But one of the weird things is he started out as a drummer, and then broke his foot. And couldn't drum.
And then, he just wasn't good enough, and so he decided to play guitar. As the only drummer here, I've got to just bash.
I broke my ankle skydiving, and
wow,
really?
That
didn't know that.
I could no longer carry my drums back and forth to rehearsal, so the drums stayed at rehearsal. So I'm home with just a guitar, and wasn't long after that the drums went away.
Damn.
And it hasn't changed since.
So
thank God for skydiving.
I guess.
I don't know. Well, Paul Lidel is a drummer. I think that would have been great, though. I mean,
I've seen him drum because you've drummed
still
around here for open mics and stuff, haven't you? Or gotten up with people?
Sure.
I feel like I have seen that. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we're doing on the Monsters of Rock cruise. We're gonna sign up for the Cruiser Jam, and you're gonna be on drums. Let's do this. I want to see this.
That'd be cool.
All right. Is there anything else you want to get out there? Is there anything that you want to tell people, Paul, that they might not know? Anything coming up that you got going on? Any information about you? Anything else that you want to say before we sign off?
Just that we're really, really excited about September 18th and looking forward to seeing everybody. And it's going to be a really good time.
Oh, hell yeah. It's going to be one. I know I'm not going as of right now, but something happened that something's going on that I might be able to swing it now. I mean, I can't say anything about what's going down or here or there. Wife, I'm not allowed to say it yet. But she's, if she divorces me, then I'm definitely there, because then I don't have to have her permission. But I'm working on her, trying to get it, and she's in the other room listening to me. I know it, and I'm dead now. But we're 2 weeks away. We were actually looking at plane tickets today, so if we were looking at plane tickets, it's promising.
Yeah.
And there's two openers, right? Are there two openers on that show?
Yep.
Who are? And what do you happen to know what time gates are, or whatever you call it? I guess at that.
No, but that will be posted on the Dirty Looks Facebook page, which is titled Dirty Looks Page Official, because so that's where they can find information, and we'll have all that information on there.
Awesome.
I should know.
Hey, You know, you don't have to know. That's what what's his name's for. Who's
Eric
the guy
Bird.
that we exactly
Eric
that's
Bird,
what
yeah.
Eric Bird's for. You know, just say go
Yeah.
see Eric. He runs the
Yeah.
Facebook page.
He'll get the band there. Don't worry.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. Are you gonna? Is there gonna be like recorded? Is it
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in the process of trying to get that all together. We're like multi-camera
Right.
pro shoot and take a feed from the board and mix it down kind of thing, because I think it's going to be a pretty special night and I want to have it documented.
Exactly. That's I thought you were probably doing that. I just wanted to make sure, is the people that can't be there for one reason or the other, they're gonna want to have that. They're gonna want a copy of that. Just
Sure.
because, and even the people that were there, they're gonna want a copy just because they were there. They want to relive that all the time. I love my videotapes. I love going back and watching them and experiencing it all over again. So that's cool.
So you're saying there is a small possibility for it to actually be released as a release?
We haven't even talked about releasing something, but we'll record it and try to have a decent quality recording in video.
I didn't mean really release. I meant just like where you'll post it where people could see what that didn't get to go.
Yeah, it might end up on YouTube or something.
Okay. It might, huh?
All the cool shit's on YouTube.
Yeah, because there's gonna be 100 videos on YouTube with people with their phone that sounds awful, right?
Awful.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So it would be kind of nice to have something that was a decent sound quality, decent video quality.
Right. Well,
Sweet.
it's like, do you even listen to your own recordings on your phone? Why do you post these? Because no justice to anything. I think people just post that just to post it. Say, hey, look, I got this. It doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of bands saying that. They're like, people post our stuff. I wish they wouldn't because it sounds like shit.
There's no way to stop it these days. So
No,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no
you have
way
to live with
stop
it.
it.
you just have
Right.
to live with it.
But it does always sound like shit, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Every
If I'm
now
around-
and then you get a good one, but that's very far and in between.
If I'm around people, they're like, "Hey, here's your show from last night." I'm like,
Thanks.
"I'm leaving the room."
I'm out.
Yeah, let me know when y'all are done watching that.
I do not want to watch that because that
Yeah.
makes me feel bad. And,
Yeah.
no.
It's in the past.
Right, exactly. Well, I thank everybody for joining me and Paul. Great to see you. Great to chat with you again. Nice meeting you, Brett, and nice meeting you, Dave.
You as well, sir.
You guys continue doing what you're doing with Broken Teeth and all the projects you got going on. Paul, you're a busy man with everything you got going on, and I just don't know where you find time.
Yeah, Peyers Toys is in Denver this weekend.
I know. I mean,
Minneapolis the following weekend.
The following weekend, it's just, and then you got Dirty Looks the following weekend.
After that, yes.
I mean, so you're going to be in Denver, then Pennsylvania, then over here. You've got to find one spot and say, okay, let's all three play here, and then move it. All three play here.
Yeah.
That guy's not a very good booking agent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not very good at it. He's like, Alaska next weekend, and then we'll do Miami the weekend after.
Well, a lot of these shows were booked last year,
Right.
and then are coming back around,
Right.
this year, now that things are open. As a matter of fact, this Dirty Looks show was booked, I want to say last year it was booked for like the 20th of March. And by about the 10th of March, everything was shut down, right?
Yep. Yeah, you had that. I think that was the 17th, and then I think you had Ballroom Blitz the 20th. Yeah, 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
It was the two. If one
Two
was
of them were
Ballroom
within
Blitz,
a week. Yeah,
what date was Ballroom Blitz?
I think that was the 20th, 21, and 22.
Okay,
Or 21,
yeah.
20.
It was
And then Sealands Grove was right before that, the week, couple days before it or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of these shows, including the festival that's in a couple weeks in Minneapolis, and some other ones these are ones that were from last year, but we didn't
Very
get.
cool. Very cool. Hey, at least they're getting rescheduled and you're getting a chance to do them this year. Get them while you can, because you don't know what's going to happen in a month.
That's right.
And we don't have a clue. You can see the writing on the wall, so get the shows in and go to the shows as much as you can, because it might get taken away again.
Mhm.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Get there, rock out, so that when you're sitting on your ass wishing you would have been there in December, you don't have to worry about it. You were there. Well, thank you very much. We're gonna leave now with another Dirty Look song. We're gonna take off with It's Not the Way You Rock, which is one of them all-time favorites of everybody's. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that does every song on the album, is absolutely killer. You can play anything and people are like jumping out of their chairs and everything. But
thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe out there on the road. And, we'll see you September 18th.
Right on.
All right, man. Take it easy, guys.
Bye-bye.
Here's Dirty Looks. It's Not the Way You Rock. Boom.